The outlandish Regency court attire. Exploring Regency court attire offers a glimpse into a world often overshadowed by more familiar images of Jane Austen's novels and elegant everyday fashion. While the Regency era is celebrated for its cultural refinement and artistic elegance, the court's fashion tells a different story, one of extravagance, status symbols, and daring choices that defied practicality and convention. Join us as we unravel the fascinating and often bizarre realm of Regency court dress. When we think of Regency fashion, our minds typically conjure images of Jane Austen, empire waistlines, and graceful, streamlined gowns. The Regency era is often associated with cultural refinement, artistic blossoming, and elegance. A quick look at the exquisite costumes from the 2020 adaptation of Emma perfectly captures this sentiment. This was a unique period in history, marked by women embracing loose, flowing garments with low necklines, short sleeves, and minimal corsets, a true fashion revolution. But today I'm not here to extol the virtues of Regency fashion. Instead, let's dive into the lesser known and decidedly more peculiar realm of Regency court dress. It is intriguing to consider court fashion and everyday fashion as distinct entities. Historically, court ladies were the trendsetters, with their styles gradually permeating the broader society. Although the fashion of the common folk differed greatly from that of aristocracy, trends originating in the court often influenced wider societal dress. However, practicality was not a concern for court attire, which stood in stark contrast to the needs of everyday life. Given this top-down influence, one might assume that the women of the court embodied the same Grecian elegance seen in Pride and Prejudice. After all, the distinctive style of the Regency must have been inspired by a forward-thinking queen, right? Well, not exactly. When picturing Regency court dress, think less Grecian goddess and more elaborate cake topper, those oddly shaped extravagant creations, or perhaps a Barbie cake where the doll's dress is made of cake. Welcome to the bizarre world of Regency court fashion. As many Bridgerton enthusiasts know, Queen Charlotte reigned over much of the Regency period. For those less familiar, the Regency era spanned from 1811 to 1820, named for the period when King George III's son, the Prince Regent George IV, ruled on his behalf. Queen Charlotte insisted on the continued use of the hoop skirt as a staple of court dress, a tradition that dated back to the Tudor period. The twist during the Regency was the empire waistline, which sat just under the bust, creating a distinctive silhouette unique to the era. This departure from the natural waistline contributed to the era's iconic look, celebrated in numerous period dramas. While the Regency era witnessed significant historical events like the advent of the steam locomotive, the conclusion of the Napoleonic Wars, and the Manchester cotton spinners' strikes, it's the splendour that often captures our imagination. The ultra-short waists of Regency gowns weren't exactly compatible with hoop skirts, yet court fashion stubbornly clung to them. This led to a distorted appearance that today would only be seen as avant-garde runways. The royal court, acting as the era's fashion stage, embraced this extreme trend as a symbol of status and opulence. While the rest of society aimed for sleek sophistication, the court's motto seemed to be, if your attire didn't involve an extravagant amount of fabric, how would anyone know that you were affluent and superior? These voluminous skirts made from lavished embroidered fabrics became a testament to this mindset. The court ladies treated their skirts like expansive canvases, unwilling to part with the grandiose style. Admittedly, this historical fashion quirk is a delight for enthusiasts of peculiar trends. It's hardly surprising that it eventually vanished, seemingly exiled from memory and period dramas alike. What makes the high-waisted hoop skirt so fascinating today is its stark contrast to the mainstream fashion of its time. The difference between court ladies and the more fashion-forward middle classes was striking. They might as well have belonged to different eras or countries. But why did women of the court dress this way? Is a question that puzzles us even now. Could they have genuinely believed this was the pinnacle of fashion, especially when the middle classes were setting such stylish standards? The middle classes were redefining elegance and independence, even rejecting the likes of Mr. Darcy with his £10,000 a year. So what were the court ladies thinking? The truth is, we don't really know. Contemporary accounts of fashion opinions are scarce. Jane Austen, for instance, never mentioned court fashion in her novels, likely because she never frequented such circles. It wasn't until later writers like Georgina Hill in 1893 that the absurdity of this fashion was critiqued. But by then it was a distant memory, half a century out of date. Fashion moved on swiftly after the Regency era ended in 1820. Waistlines dropped, skirts expanded, and the odd court style was quickly forgotten. This abrupt shift suggests that Queen Charlotte might have been the driving force behind the Regency court dress. She dictated the court's attire and insisted on the hoop skirt's persistence, despite its incongruity with contemporary fashion. Not long after her death, this peculiar style was abandoned, likely due to a combination of evolving fashion trends and the court's relief at moving away from Charlotte's outdated preferences. As with much of history, the full story remains elusive. The rise and fall of Regency court fashion reflect more than just changing tastes. They mirror societal shifts and influence of key figures like Queen Charlotte. As quickly as these elaborate styles emerged, they faded into obscurity with the end of the era, leaving behind a legacy of opulent excess and curious fashion experiments. Though the reasons behind these choices remain enigmatic, their impact on fashion history is undeniable, serving as a testament to the ever-evolving nature of style and identity.